Hello, and welcome to the Not a Fishing podcast, where we do not talk about fishing. We're gonna talk about some silly topics. We're gonna get a little goofy off that goofy juice. Um, we're gonna we're gonna bring the boom, Big Justice style. So let's introduce ourselves first. I am joined by Ghost, my friend Ghost.
What's up? I'm a Ghost from YouTube. Fisherman of 40 years. My biggest catch was about 20 inches long, I want to say.
What? Why are you saying all that?
I thought the show was called Yes, This is a Fishing Podcast.
No, that's the other show that you've got going. This is
Oh,
not a
okay.
fishing podcast.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
That's the only time we're ever gonna talk about fishing.
I've never seen a fish in my life. I think the longest one I never saw was about 45 inches.
Good. Okay. So your Ghost from YouTube.
Yeah.
What content do you make, Ghost from YouTube?
Mostly things that don't involve like aquatic stuff. Like I talk about electronic entertainment. Um, and I
Uh-huh.
post pictures of my cat, and that's about it.
That's the best style of content, baby.
What do you do, Mister?
Well, I'm anti-extra from YouTube.
Yeah,
That kind of has the same vibe as John Yakuza, you know?
you should just change your username to like John Raccoon.
That's a second channel name right there.
It is.
Thank you. Maybe that'll be my identity for this podcast exclusively. Just call me John Raccoon from now on, please.
So this is like a different universe, basically, like a whole new continuity.
Yeah, this is not part of the anti-extra cinematic universe.
Gotcha.
I also make videos about electronic entertainment, specifically video games.
It's a good niche.
That's kind of all there is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a lot of people are doing gaming content on YouTube. We've both found like our place on the site.
From what I've seen, like 90% of the website of YouTube is just like people exchanging bottle caps and shit.
God, I hate those guys.
I hate them.
They're all just sheep.
They pull out their little sack and they're like, all right, let's see what caps we got today, guys. They're like, oh, it's a orange Fanta one. Oh, it's a rare one.
I fucking hated that Germa stream the other day where he did exactly that.
Remember when Logan Paul went boxing with his prized purple Fanta bottle cap in like a plastic
God,
case
yeah.
around his neck?
He loves bringing that shit up every time. Any opportunity he gets, he brings up that bottle cap.
He's just in it for the money, honestly.
Yep. Aren't they all those bottle cap creators?
So it's come to my attention that you've got some topics arranged for this.
I do. Yes, we both do. You'll be contributing later from what I understand.
I did write down quite a few topics.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, I've not really looked into them, but they seem to be some deep, thought-provoking debates that we're going to be having later on.
Oh yeah.
Now that we've introduced ourselves, I feel like we should get into the more personal stuff, and I thought we should talk about the media, the entertainment that we are currently enjoying, or just, watching or playing.
All right.
So that can range from movies to games to YouTube channels that you might be watching at the moment and really liking.
Well, after you. Yeah, I'd like to hear what's going down in your little world.
So I recently did beat Yakuza 3 and 4. I'm on that Yakuza pilgrimage still. I'm halfway through now that I've beat 4. And
Aren't you more than halfway through?
actually, yeah.
There's only 8 games, right?
Yeah, I beat 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
So you're like more than deep in.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm gonna keep convincing you to start those games every single day because after playing through Yakuza 4, I never thought a Yakuza game could beat Yakuza 0 for me in terms of like story and like fun. Yakuza 4 just did it for me.
Really?
It rivals 0 for me. And it doesn't get talked about enough. It's like the black sheep. 3 and 4 are like the black sheep of the series.
It's because the series is so. Am I allowed to curse on this podcast?
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's because the series is so goddamn long that most people are either have only made it up to like Kiwami 2 and then dip because they've been in it for so long, or they start at one of the new entries and just play from there.
Yeah, there is a lot of people that start from Like a Dragon because that's just the new fresh one with the new story. And people don't like to get into something that's already like hours and hours of content in, you know? I've always wanted to get into Game of Thrones. I can't do it because it's already complete and there is so many seasons.
I can't do it because the entire time I'm going to be thinking about the fact that its ending is apparently terrible.
That too. I will confirm or deny that one day. One day I'll get onto it.
All right, mark this. Everyone bookmark this so we can find out later.
Yeah, bookmark this URL.
The URL for this specific episode, not the channel itself.
Yeah, just this episode. And try in like a year when you realize you still have this episode bookmarked, try to remember why you have it bookmarked, and it's for the reason that I promised to watch Game of Thrones one day.
And he probably still will not have done that.
Absolutely not. I'm never gonna do it. Okay.
All right.
Ghost, what have you been enjoying recently?
Well, I've been telling you a lot. I've been playing the shit out of Skyrim recently, for the first time.
That's right.
Relatively, I played like a couple hours on PlayStation several years ago, and I was like, it's okay. But this time I found out there's fire, and they like, instant caveman brain. Holy shit! I can set people on fire, and that is just a major game mechanic. This is the best thing ever.
You found about the fire that your character has by default.
I don't think I looked through the menus very, very much when I first tried the game. Like it took me. I've played maybe like 20, 30 hours of Fallout 4 way back in the day, and it took me until trying Fallout 3 recently to realize VATS actually do something.
And I still have not used VATS enough. Like, it's fun whenever I do use it, but I'm just the type of person that relies on myself. I don't want to let the game play the game for me, even though it's fun when I do let it.
Consider the following. If you give the game the reins to do what it wants, you get a funny cutscene where the guy's head explodes. And you see the little eyeball gib go across the screen, and he's like, "Ooh."
And I also don't have to be playing Fallout if I let the game play itself for me, so that's 2 benefits.
That is 2 very big benefits.
On the topic of Skyrim, are you currently playing through any of the faction quests, any of the big quests?
I've just been wandering around, but mostly just exploring.
Hell yeah.
Been going to all the big cities, seeing what's up. Because I don't want to like dedicate myself to a faction until I've learned the ins and outs of both factions, you know?
Dude, the first playthrough of Skyrim, I am so jealous of you. My first time playing Skyrim felt genuinely infinite.
It doesn't
I didn't know when the game would end, when I'd reach the map boundaries, you know?
Yeah, that's always a nice feeling. And then you look at the map and you realize there actually is a boundary somewhere.
And that's the worst feeling.
I accidentally entered one of the DLC, and I had the slightly horrifying experience of realizing that there's an entire chunk of new map that I have to go through at some point.
The one where you go to the other island?
Yeah, someone tried to kill me. A cultist tried to kill me, and
yeah,
the quest marker was like, go find out who they're working for, and it led me to an entirely different continent.
Fun fact, that little island, it's part of the Dragonborn DLC, and it's basically an island just off of the coast of Morrowind.
I thought it was actually in Morrowind.
I don't think so. I think it's an island just outside of Morrowind.
I see. So it's like the Alaska of Morrowind.
Yeah, it's a great way of putting it.
So do I ever get to go to Is Oblivion a place, or is it just the title?
The actual Oblivion of in Elder Scrolls lore is basically like hell. Like it's a different realm, and it's basically hell with a bunch of little red imps that scream at you and throw fireballs at you.
It just sounds like France.
Yeah, but the actual game of Oblivion is set in Cyrodiil, which is like the like capital of Tamriel or something like. God, my lore is a bit all over the place right now.
So is there more to the world beyond Tamriel, or are we just supposed to accept that this is the only continent in the whole world?
Tamriel is one of like 3 continents, I think.
Okay.
On that planet of, I think the planet is called Nern, and there is like an entirely different continent that's been explored a little bit in the lore, and it's like a completely different place.
I love when they flesh things out that deep.
If you like lore, Elder Scrolls is great, even though sometimes it can get really silly.
Well, why else would I be here?
True. I don't know why you'd be playing Skyrim if not for the silliness.
I wouldn't have expected that kind of depth from Bethesda after being very upset to find out that in Fallout you just never learn anything about anywhere else in the world aside from America. I want to know what's happening everywhere else. Can you tell me?
I know, I've seen like videos trying to explore like the rest of the world, like what's happening outside of America, but it's just impossible. They've barely given any clues.
I think it's kind of funny, the concept that just like some random European country got hit with nothing and is still perfectly fine.
I mean, I feel like maybe that's actually the case. I feel like there is probably some countries that were maybe not affected as bad, maybe outside of...
But they can't be bothered to go help any of the other ones.
I'm wondering what's happened to Antarctica, because no one's targeting Antarctica in a nuclear war, right?
That's because as soon as you do, everyone's fucked. That's like that. Like once that's gone, there's no world to have a nuclear war about. That's like literally the plot of Evangelion, is that like a mega nuke went off in Antarctica, and it just like super fast forwarded climate change to happen all at once. So now the world is stuck in an eternal summer.
I have never known what that show was about. I watched like 2 episodes and I was so confused.
That's the fun part. I mean, they do explain it, but very, very poorly. The only way you're ever gonna find any of this deep lore is by like looking up posts on Reddit explaining what it is based on the little clues they give you.
That's the best type of media. That's like how Dark Souls is.
Oh,
like
God.
you can play through the entire game 10 times over, and unless you're some super genius, you will have no idea what's going on. You just have to look everything up.
I can appreciate that, but at the same time, sometimes I just want to understand what's happening without having to like dig through a whole thing to get there, you know?
Yeah. It's good in small doses to have that bit of mystery.
But in big doses,
it's an overdose. Is there any other things that you've been satisfied, pleasured by?
I've been very, very quickly watching The Boys recently. I started on like Monday, and it's like Friday, and I have 1 episode left.
We should also, I was thinking each episode to clarify what the date is when we're recording this, so we don't like get information wrong when like the information isn't even out there yet. It's the 2nd of August.
It is the 2nd of August. All that shit, all the shit with like the president and the Antarctica, that hasn't happened yet. Okay, so you can't blame us.
We have nothing to do with that.
I'm right now. I'm wearing the J Schlatt official T-shirt. I had nothing to do with what happened in Butler, PA, on July whatever the fuck 2024.
If you want someone to blame Schlatt.
Yeah, really.
It's just a mere coincidence that we're even bringing this up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no world events have ever been caused by me or my cohort here. Everything violent we discuss, we're talking about Minecraft.
The Boys. How are you enjoying that?
Oh, it's really good. Yeah.
God, I gotta get onto that.
Yeah, it's very red. It's a very red show.
Like gore-wise?
Yeah, it's just
Oh yeah,
They like the color red. It's always there.
they do.
Yeah.
Red and blue, because it's America, baby.
Hell yeah, man. They do such a great job of portraying Americans. It's actually kind of infuriating.
Homelander is like the person that I think of when I think of an American, an average American. Like the type of stuff that Homelander gets up to in The Boys, I feel like that's what you're doing when we're not recording something.
Yeah, pretty much, honestly. At anytime I'm not like in business mode for a YouTube video, that's just me.
I wanted to ask you something. Now that we're on the topic of Homelander. I know you've mentioned this thing and I've been seeing it online a ton,
Is it
but
the
I
scene?
haven't looked into it. It's yummers. Can you explain yummers? I don't know what it is.
Have you not seen the like video of that?
I've seen the clip of A-Train drinking the milkshake and then Homelander poking him, but does he say yummers in that?
He does, yeah. He says yummers. That he pokes him in the
Oh, I
stomach like
do
12
remember
times.
that now. I remember that scene now, yeah.
Some idiot on Discord's GIF maker put yummers as a caption to the scene where he gets like squirted in the face. So and I found out like DC Comics made like an official Discord server to like promote their stuff, and the word yummers is banned in the whole server because people wouldn't stop spamming the GIF of Homelander that says yummers.
Jesus. I don't know why you'd ban that.
Do you know what GIF I'm talking about?
Oh, I've seen this, yeah.
I don't know if I can describe this for the chat. Just if you're listening to this, go look up Homelander yummers GIF. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Okay, I understand. This is the whole meme?
Yeah.
This is just the okay, I'm caught up. Okay, we have a little segment that we're gonna try doing every single episode. There is no name to this segment yet, but we're just gonna go over things that have been happening on the internet in the last few weeks.
Oh, that's what you meant. That's what you meant by Fortnite. I see.
Yeah, I didn't mean Battle Royale.
I forget that it's a real word sometimes.
I hate using that word properly as well. I felt so uncomfortable typing that out on the doc. I mean, we've got 3 topics that I wrote down. You can pick and choose which one we start with. Which one, piques your curiosity.
Honestly, except for the one on the bottom, I don't know much about all these aside from like a surface level. So I feel like you should lead us into one.
Let's start with the Olympics. Gun wielding.
Please explain this to me, because I was not watching and I keep seeing people talk about it. So I gotta know what the hell was going on.
All right, so I do have some links that I posted, but they're not very relevant. So I'll explain it to you. The Olympics has been happening over the past few days, and there was one competition for like a gun range, I guess. I didn't watch like any of the clips really, but it's like with a 25mm pistol or something like that. There was the contestants from all the different countries had to try and hit the most shots or like the longest range shot or something like that. I don't know.
Has this always been a thing, or is this new?
I've never heard of this.
Me neither.
It's probably just like gone under the radar all these years. But if you click on the second link I posted, it's some art, but it kind of describes the situation perfectly.
I would like to ask you a question.
Go on.
Are you the one who wrote this little caption under the top picture that says, "He really served the country," with sparkles around the word served? Did you write that?
I did not write that. We can move on to that guy after. He's like the side character to this whole situation.
So the bottom picture, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, there was 2 people that the internet have fallen in love with from this competition, from this tournament. There was this Korean girl who got first place in this competition, and she looked like a complete badass while doing all this. She just put the point of the gun in front of her, had the other hand on her hip, is wearing like these really cool gun glasses. I don't know, they're like, I guess they're just made to measure.
They look like a TF2 cosmetic.
Yeah, pretty much. They look very strange, but very cool. And she got the gold medal. And yeah, she was just really cool. After she won, there was like no reaction from her. She just had a blank face, as if she does not give a fuck. Like, this is normal for her. People on the internet fell in love with this Korean girl who's a complete badass until the second opponent arrived. This guy won second place at the tournament. He is some old man from Turkey, and unlike every other contestant that arrived partook in this shooting thing, he wore none of these like glasses. He had no special equipment. He just arrived, hands in his pockets, got second place, got the silver medal, and dipped.
This man is who I strive to be. I love everything about this picture.
It was so cool. And people have been like making memes about it, saying he's actually like a secret agent or something, and he got second place on purpose to not arouse any suspicion about his true identity.
It looks like he's so dedicated to not arousing suspicion that he is in fact arousing more suspicion.
That's true. He is the main character.
He is. Look at this. This is, you know, those memes where it's like when your custom character is in the cutscene. This is like the inverse of that, when you make your character way too generic.
This is just the NPC that ends up becoming the main character.
Yeah,
he's just a normal ass guy.
This is the Persona protagonist.
Yeah,
the most normal man in the room, but somehow the most powerful. People
really started to love him even more once they discovered his social media and found out that this like cold-hearted killer of a man is actually a cat person. He just takes pictures with his cats on his like social media.
Can we get this guy on for an interview?
I hope so, but he's Turkish, so we probably won't understand him.
We'll get a translator. We will make it work.
His aura can speak for him. The words are not necessary.
I hate to be that guy, but every one of these pictures looks like a rejected JoJo character, except for the guy.
I was actually thinking of that. I mean, the guy looks like a JoJo character, especially with like his glasses just not showing his eyes.
He looks like he should be like the protagonist of an anime, and everyone else is just the backup cast.
And then I've sent. You can click the top link now. This guy, I don't know which country, he's from.
This man fights for himself.
He does, yeah. He doesn't do it for his country. He does it out of pleasure.
He's just here for a good time.
There was this other contestant, and I don't want to say anything that will get me cancelled. I don't know what place he got. I don't know what country he's from. But there was this other guy that people also noticed who went up there with his gun, and he shot the gun in possibly the most feminine, not even feminine, it's more than feminine what this is.
Someone told him to strike a pose and he took it to heart.
This guy, he didn't come here to win the Olympics. He came here for a good Instagram post.
I had seen this guy already because I saw people on like the JoJo subreddit comparing him to the character whose whole thing is just that he has a gun and makes funny poses like that.
Ironically, this guy looks the most like a JoJo's character.
This is going to be a pose on the cover of a volume someday.
That's the Olympics gun people, who the internet has been completely obsessed with recently. So this is slightly more of an outdated topic than the other topics I've got ready.
Is it outdated because we already talked about it off camera?
Yeah. But there is some stuff I do want to go over a little bit. There has just been, like, so many new 6v6 or 5v5 hero, like, colorful shooters cropping up everywhere all the time. There's a new one called Concord, I think. PlayStation. It's a PlayStation exclusive, and they've really been pushing this game hard before it's out.
This is a hero shooter? I've been getting ads for this, and none of them at all got across the idea that this is a hero shooter and not like a single player story based thing.
Yeah, it's a hero shooter with all these quirky looking characters, and it's all colorful. It just seems to be a trend, and I have no idea why it's happening now. Because I can't think of any game apart from like Valorant maybe in recent years that has had like huge success with like a game like that. Overwatch came out so many years ago, and it kind of just like died off a little bit. And I don't know why they're just cropping up all over the place now.
The only one of these that's new that we need someone to make is an exact clone of Overwatch 1.
Oh my god, yeah.
Someone's got to do it. I'm waiting. Figure it out.
Apart from the balancing issues that Overwatch has always had, they kind of created like the perfect hero shooter, in my opinion. Like it was simple.
You can jump right into it, you know? Like you don't ever got to learn things. You just pick a character. It has like 3 abilities that are pretty simple. Go.
And it just felt good. Like it was 6v6. You had 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 support. It's just a good game. And now all of these like new games are coming out trying to replicate Valorant or Overwatch or something. I don't know, and they're just all failing horribly and shutting down within like the next year.
I mean, this has always been a problem, I think. Ever since companies realized live service could function, I've been seeing games go down, like live service stuff going down for like years. I remember there was this game my dad used to play with all his friends called Evolve. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
I have heard of that. It's like a crew of 4 hunting down monsters or something like that.
To my knowledge, it's like one player is the monster, and that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So I like looked into it a couple years ago. I was like, well, maybe this will be like a fun thing to play with the pals. And not only was it gone, but it also had been gone for like several years. And I was like, well, was it not fun, or did it just no one was playing it? Like what happened here?
From what I understand, it was not a good game at launch. It was like average at best. And then after the launch, the developers barely supported it. And I don't know if you know this, but I remember before Evolve came out, that game was being marketed so hard for like a few weeks, I remember. And even I wasn't really into those types of games, but even I was looking forward to it just because of how much I kept seeing it all the time. And that's a great example to use because that's happening now. I think you can get like your own servers up and running and like invite your friends.
That's good, thank God.
But it's like a really, really annoying like workaround. That's how it normally is with these kinds of things.
At least there is a workaround.
Remember Anthem?
Wait, is that gone?
Yeah, that shut down after like 2 years, I think, or like 3 years.
I'm shocked it lasted that long. I remember everyone hated it. Since even before the day it came out. I was there like when they did like the big overview of it at E3 like the year before, and I remember everyone in chat was like, this looks like shit.
I will say I thought it looked good. I was surprised to find out people didn't like it. Like visually it looked amazing. Gameplay wise they didn't show off a whole lot, but you know, a lot of trailers and announcements don't show off a whole lot, just like certain aspects of the game. And from what I remember seeing, it looked fun.
Something's wrong.
But I did end up playing Anthem at one point, like a year after it released. I played it with a friend, and I will say this, it was actually fun for about 2 hours. And then afterwards, it just got extremely repetitive, like you were just doing the same stuff over and over again. But the thing is that the formula was there. Like, it was really fun for, like, the first 2 hours.
We were so close to greatness.
It's just that they never supported it. They didn't update it. And I don't get it. Why release these games, these live service games or whatever, and then just fill up the store with microtransactions and just ignore it?
You know what I think? I think in addition to that, more of these games should do what Evolve apparently did and just have the option built in for like a peer-to-peer connection or for like player-made servers so that so that it's not like just the entire thing is gone the moment they don't want to support it anymore. I've like on occasion installed like the old Valve games from like the late 90s that had online stuff, and they don't have official servers anymore, but you know what they did have? They had built-in support for player-made servers. So you go into any of those and no one's going to be online, but there's still going to be tons of servers you could like round up a couple of friends and join in on. And like if Overwatch 2 shuts down tomorrow, you're not going to have that because Blizzard and everyone else has decided, well, if you can't play this under our rule, you can't play it at all. Okay? And I think that's really stupid.
And the fact that they made the first Overwatch, it wasn't free to play. You had to buy that game.
Yeah.
So many people bought it. It was one of the most popular games, like, of all time.
I bought it for full price, like 5 months before Overwatch 2 came out. And they never even offered me like anything in return. They gave me a couple of free cosmetics and stuff, and then that was it.
And they don't address it. Like, they just ignore the fact that they stole your money, and then they just remove the product.
Yeah, that's so stupid. There needs to be like a cutoff point where, because I understand that it makes sense sometimes for games like that to go free to play, but you need to have like well, okay, if you bought this in like the last year, then we'll reimburse you for that. Sorry about that, man. I really dislike this new trend in Overwatch's game design where they just completely redesign a character. It upsets me. Because they did it to my character, okay? They took away Cassidy's grenade, they replaced it with a flash grenade.
Yeah.
My entire playstyle is ruined. I can't play the game anymore.
And it's probably because esports players were complaining about it.
Exactly. That's always what it is.
This hero is too OP against this hero. So then, like, the developers bow down. They don't care about the casual players who are having fun. They care about the esports players.
I don't understand how they've had like what, like 7-8 years to figure out the balancing, and they still haven't.
They keep remaking characters, like characters that they've had from the start of the game, from the dawn of the game releasing, and they're still like remaking them, like changing up their abilities. How? The original game has been out for like a decade nearly.
I want to make it known during this conversation for the people at home. There was like a study done on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which, keep in mind, has like 80-something characters. And they like tested various combinations of characters, like 50 combinations, and all of them were almost like a stalemate. Like it is, technically speaking, the most balanced game ever. And it has like 4 times the amount of characters as Overwatch, so why can't they figure it out too?
I have heard that about Smash. There is not an objectively like best character to play.
Only if you're like super into the competitive scene.
And then you take games like MULTIVERSUS, which recently officially came out. I haven't played that, but from all I've heard about it is that it is so unbalanced. You will have like one character that is the meta, and everyone is just playing as that one character. You'll just go from match to match seeing that exact same hero as your rival, because they just have like some scuffed attack.
It's proven that there is a way to make this work, so why dedicate more resources to making it work? I don't understand. And I'm upset that MULTIVERSUS like it just went away for a year and then came back and nothing was changed, because I really want that game to be good. I like the concept enough that I feel like you could make this work. This could be like the next Smash Bros, the next thing for people to be excited about. But you had to ruin it in every possible way. You had to add a battle pass. You had to have a roadmap with missing features in the game. You had to make it unbalanced. Like, what did you do in the year where the game was unavailable?
Because they charging people like money for like when it was still in early access or whatever in beta.
Yeah,
I remember there being something about that.
When when the early access came out, to my knowledge, it wasn't even advertised as an early access. So they had like a season system. They're like, all right, this is season 1. Here's the battle pass, and people bought the battle
Oh
pass
my
and spent
god.
money on characters and shit. And then when the game wasn't doing well, because they kept giving it out for free early to people, probably, uh, they were like, okay, well, uh, just kidding. That was actually the early access, and we're gonna shut down
Oh
the
my
game for
god.
like a year while we fix it. Okay?
And instead of fixing it, all the employees just went on holiday, I guess.
Yeah, like but when it came back, it was pretty much exactly in the exact same state it was before.
Yeah. And it's so sad because I feel like Multiversus is probably the first game in like the last I don't know how many years that actually had the potential to rival Smash, like actually be equal to Smash.
It had
Like
so much
there was
potential.
so much hype. It was so popular and it had like a good selection of characters to start with, unique characters like you can play as LeBron James.
It could have been the next, like, it would never have been as big, but it could have been like the next thing where people are like hyped to find out who the new character is, you know? And because it's a live service game, they could have had that going for as long as they wanted.
And there's games like I haven't played it, but isn't there like a Nickelodeon game like that?
There is, and I refused to play it because they made a new game, a second one, and they were like, "This is the definitive Nickelodeon All Star Brawl game." And then the only character who got left out from the first game was the one character I ever would have wanted to play, and it was Jimmy Neutron's dad.
I just hate all of these new competitive multiplayer games that are coming out. Like the only good multiplayer games nowadays are like Lethal Company, which isn't live service. It's not competitive. It's just you and your friends having fun. Those are like the good multiplayer games to actually look forward to.
What with Lethal Company and like content warning and shit, I really like that the new big genre, at least one of them, is just four idiots doing something.
Yeah, and running away screaming from like a monster
I love
with
that.
like proximity chat on.
It's
That is the
so
best.
it's so fun. Proximity chat makes everything 10 times funnier.
It's a must. It's a must nowadays in any of those like immersive multiplayer games.
I haven't done one in like a year, but that last Gmod video I did, the smartest decision I ever
Mm.
made was making everyone install a proximity chat mod. That was the funniest shit ever.
Yeah, it just has so much potential for like comedy.
Like there's so much there's so much humor in like walking into a room where two people are already doing something and not having any
Yeah.
prior context because you weren't within speaking range with them earlier.
Or like in Lethal Company or Content Warning when one of your friends is just getting dragged away by something and you just hear their screams fading.
Or when one of your friends like accidentally dies, so you just hear a little.
Yeah, and just instantly cuts off. Yeah.
My one of my favorite things in those games is I have this one clip of me, Green, and Wumbo playing Content Warning, where me and Green like go off on a little side thing to go get footage of something, and we
Mhm.
leave Wumbo to do whatever the fuck he was doing, and we come back like literally 10 seconds later, and he's just a corpse on the floor. We leave him alone for 2 seconds, and he's already dead. And then
You just had no idea that anything happened.
we because of the camera feature, we got to look back at the footage. And it's because he was holding a boom mic next to like a laser field, and apparently the boom mic extended his hitbox, so he like lightly tapped the laser field and just dropped dead.
Oh my god.
And I want more games like that.
We need more like physics based games, you know? Like more sandboxy type games.
We need more of this emphasis on games where the appeal is just how stupid can this get depending on how many people are here with you.
There's like roleplay potential in those games
Yeah.
with the like proximity chat and stuff.
I think part of the reason why that genre in quotes works is because it appeals to both markets. Like Lethal Company, you can play it super competitively, it also in quotations. Like you can be super like, okay, I gotta maximize this shit. I gotta get in quick. I gotta
Mm.
get everything I can, or you can, or you can play it like a complete idiot and have the time of your life.
We need to see more of those types of games. I feel like Lethal Company and Content Warning are a little bit like too similar for my liking. I feel like that.
They're like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of why like Sea of Thieves works so well.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we've been playing the shit out of that because it appeals to that same thing. Like you can play this like an actual game, or you can approach it like, oh, I'm just gonna fuck around
Mm-hmm.
with my friends for 3 hours.
Which is literally all we do.
Yeah.
We don't get stuff done on there.
Let me preface this a little bit. So at a couple weeks before recording this, I was approached by my guy here. What were you? John Raccoon. He said to me, there's this Google Doc. It's got a list of topics I've written down. If you want to write anything there, go ahead, because that'll give us more to talk about. So I came in here and I wrote a whole list of things that I'm gonna run down the list, and I think you should just pick one. All right.
Okay.
We've got Mastodon, mammoth killing strategies. Is fire worth the effort? Is it still hot in this day and age? Hottest loincloth trends, and probably the big one, is farming the next big thing?
I'm sensing a pattern between all of these topics, and it's just very, how do I put this? Very like Ooga Booga sort of vibe.
Is that why you put them in a little category to themselves labeled Unga Bunga Talk?
Maybe so. I didn't know how to categorize it.
I want the audience to know that in this doc, next to my list of topics, is a micro scale picture of Hideo Kojima without a shirt on.
I don't remember if I had a topic for that image, so it's just gonna be there.
I thought you just really wanted me to see that picture or something.
He's watching.
He's making that same face he always makes in every selfie.
When he's at the cinema.
Okay, so I've been chilling in my cave recently. It's a beautiful, beautiful Ice Age winter. And my buddy Paraka, he told me, he was like, okay, so I had an apple, yeah, and I went, after I was done eating it, I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this shit. So I just dug a hole in the ground and put it down there. But then I came back like a long time later, and there was a tree, and the tree had more apples. So I was like, wait, infinite food glitch?
Holy shit.
We got to talking with the rest of the tribe. Turns out, most foods, if you like dig them in the ground, they will eventually turn into like a spawning point for more food. So I think this might be the next big thing, like for humanity. Like this could be huge.
So if I was to plant an animal in the ground,
You'd probably get an animal tree.
holy, this is huge.
This is massive.
This is the meta.
This is
Why have I not seen anyone on YouTube talking about this? I need some strategy guides.
which that kind of leads into the other one of the other topics, mammoth killing strategies. I think we should start killing as many mammoths as we can, and then we bury their corpses so that it'll create more mammoths.
You know, funny thing, when I read that topic, that mammoth killing strategies, it got me thinking, and I realized I have not seen a mammoth in a while, like maybe in the last 4,000 years.
What?
I've just not seen them. I don't know if maybe it's because I'm in the UK.
Wait. Are you saying they didn't grow into trees?
I just haven't noticed them. Maybe they're just in America. Maybe the UK soil isn't right.
Nothing there is right. So hottest loincloth trends. I've been one of my other pals from the tribe has been experimenting with this like fancy kind of loincloth that's like tight around your areas. I forgot what he calls it, but it looks like it could also be the next big thing. Like this could be the next this could lead us into a whole new era for fashion.
For viewers at home, we will be putting up a picture of Ghost wearing his loincloth on screen just to demonstrate.
Yeah. So I invented this new thing. It's called the thong. It's sort of like a loincloth, but it's really small. And I think it'll be really good for like whenever the snow disperses and it's just really really hot for some reason.
You know, in the summer over here in the UK, you know, we aren't used to the heat, right? So
Yeah.
me and my tribe, we're not really with the loincloth stuff. We kind of just go fully nude. And sometimes we wear a leaf in front of our genitals, but that's about as far as we'll go in terms of clothing. So I feel like you have more experience talking about this kind of thing.
Well, here's the problem. Where in my neck of the woods, like everyone in my tribe just has like statistically much larger bits down there. We have really big mammoth noses down there. So a leaf just doesn't cut it. I'll believe it when I see it, man. I don't believe you.
For viewers at home, we will be putting up both of our trunks on screen.
You're gonna have to subscribe to the Patreon to see that.
I think the team at YouTube, they've kind of evolved into the like Iron Age, and we're kind of just stuck in the past. And now they're into like steel and armor and leather tunics.
Have you seen those
overrated
those videos on like YouTube Shorts and Reels and shit of the 14th century live streams?
I think I've seen a few, yeah.
I love those. Thank you, Sir Brannigan, for giving me 5 cheese wheels this eve.
Have you seen? I saw this on Twitter like last week. They've got like a new MMA sort of sport that they've created, and it's medieval MMA, and it's basically two guys that get into an octagon, like an actual like normal MMA octagon, but they're wearing like full iron armor, and they've got like swords, and they just like battle it out in just an MMA ring.
So this is just advanced fencing, is what you're saying?
Yeah. And there's like tournaments being held for it. I think it's like really getting popular.
Have you got like a video of this? I kind of want to see that.
I don't have one saved. I'll send you one later.
Send me one later.
Yeah, and I'll put it up on screen for.
You wanna move on to topic number 6 or 7?
You haven't told us about farming and whether it is the next big thing.
Yes, I did.
Did you?
That's what I was talking about this whole time.
Okay, my fault.
I didn't talk about fire though. Just like throwing it out there real quick. Fire doesn't seem worth it. It like the meat still tastes perfectly fine when it's all cold and shit. And I don't think that the people in my tribe dying because of they're eating the cold meat. I don't think that's actually why. I think it's because
they're weak.
They have weaker bones. They have a weaker bone structure. When I eat that shit, I feel like a god. So I just don't see any point in moving forward with this whole fire fad.
This isn't really a big topic, but it's just a thought I had. So I recently had the honor of finally getting into like Red Dead Redemption 2 Twitter. And now my entire like my entire like Twitter feed is just like people talking about Red Dead 2. But the thing is, they're not just talking about Red Dead 2. My entire feed is people thirsting over Arthur Morgan, and that's not really what I expected, going into this.
You say that like it's not justified.
I mean, it is perfectly justified. It's just it had me thinking, why are like the most serious like the like most serious critically acclaimed dramas like Breaking Bad and like Better Call Saul are like more examples of these like super well written bits of media that they're dramas.
Yeah.
They're like serious dramas most of the time. Why are they like the most meme things in the world? Like I've been in the Yakuza community. The Yakuza community does not meme Yakuza as much as like the Breaking Bad community memes Walter White.
You want to know what's funny? There's like a slight side thing, but I see tons of Yakuza memes in like Persona fan spaces for some reason. So
That's right, yeah.
I think there's just like two sects of that fan base, and one of them is very serious, and the other is also Persona fans.
Do you know that like meme format of like the car like there's like a split down the road and then the car drifts to the right?
Yeah.
It's like Persona on one side and Yakuza on the other side, and I think the caption is like gay people deciding which franchise to get obsessed over.
I saw the same thing, but the person at the bottom was it was like Persona fans deciding what to do after beating all the games, and the two options were Yakuza and Danganronpa.
There is an overlap between those three for sure. I don't know what it is. I think it's because they all have a balance between like goofiness and like dead seriousness.
Yeah. And to answer your question, I do think Breaking Bad was like the inciting incident of this, because this mostly became a trend once it became a major trend to treat Breaking Bad this way. But my like big brain scientist theory is that the reason why it's so popular to do it for that kind of media is because it feels like you should not. Like because Breaking Bad and all these other things you mentioned are such serious things that you see like a stupid like 8-year-old style shitpost about Jesse Pinkman, and it's inherently more funny because it feels like you shouldn't be making such a stupid joke about such a serious character.
It's like disrespecting, disrespecting all that they've created. Like, not to spoil Breaking Bad in case you haven't watched it, but like the top meme of Breaking Bad ever is when like Walter White witnesses the death of someone very close to him, and it's him like falling to the ground in shock. He's like, in the actual episode, everything is like a blur to him. Like the voices are like muffled in the background. It's like it's a heartbreaking moment, and then they just took it and now it's like it's just like a reaction like GIF.
Yeah. Well, going back to previous topics, I've felt this problem so hard recently, because Homelander is like such an intimidating, scary character on paper, but I can't be like afraid of him because every time I see his face, I just think of like the Yummers thing, or the clip of him in like a little tunnel like laughing to himself. The internet ruins characters like this because they can,
It's I don't want to say I'm like sensitive to this sort of thing, but I watched Breaking Bad like a year or two before it became like the big meme, and to see this like show that resonated with me so much and like occupied so much of my mind for so long just suddenly become a huge like meme for Zoomers to post. It was kind of like
shell shock.
Yeah.
I think it's just like an alternate take on the concept of dark humor, Like remember when Infinity War had just come out and everyone kept making the same jokes about Peter's death, all the I don't feel so good. That I
Mm-hmm.
This is just like an advanced form of that. It's such a serious thing, and in your gut you feel like you should not treat this in any way other than dead seriousness. But because you aren't, it makes it 10 times funnier.
Yeah, I think that's the best theory for it. I think that's definitely it.
Yeah.
So here's another segment that we'll have for each episode, hopefully. And it is just a single would you rather question every episode if we have time. And today we do have time. So I, I went on r/would you rather on Reddit, and I went by top posts of all time. But I did find a gem, a real gem, a needle in the haystack. Would you rather have a child made of pee or a pee made of child?
What am I supposed to say to this?
Let's break it apart.
Okay.
What does it mean? Like we need to figure that out.
What was this person thinking while they wrote this?
As you can see, their username is deleted. Their account is long gone, and I think this post is most likely the reason. Would you rather have a child made of pee, right?
So is the child like sentient, or is it just like pee? Like, because if I'm giving birth to pee, like that's just I'm just peeing.
Is the pee like forming the shape of a child, like a human child, or is it just like a puddle?
Yeah, like this needs so much more context than it has. The other part of the question is infinitely more horrifying. What do you mean? What do you mean? A pee made of child? Am I like pissing out like the essence of human flesh, or like a soul or something?
Well, another thing that fascinates me about that second half is if you take a look at the first half, would you rather have a child made of pee? And then the second half has the word a.
Oh,
right?
Like one.
What
P.
is AP? Like what is 1p?
So like I don't hear it much, but sometimes I'll hear people say, "Oh, well, I just took a pee," or "Oh, I have to go take a piss," you know? So with that logic, I think we could apply that to this and say AP is just like one pissing session.
Okay. I think
so
that's the best way of going about
that's
this.
the ground rule we're placing down.
What does the first half mean? Are we gonna say that it's a sentient puddle or a sentient child made of pee?
Here, again, sorry for the visuals, but here's what I'm visualizing right now. Okay, so in literal peak fiction, the 2012 iteration of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there was an episode where the way that the turtles were made by this like alien goop shit, and the way it works in that show is that if you're an animal and you touch it, you turn into a furry of that animal, and if you're a person and you touch it, you turn into a furry of whatever the most recent animal you touched was. But there's this one guy who hasn't touched anything recently because he's wearing like a suit made of rubber. So he touches it, and he essentially turns into a puddle of piss. So this is what I'm thinking. It's like it's probably just like a giant mound of piss with like a human brain inside. That's what I'm picturing right now.
Human brain, though. But is the brain also made of pee? Or is it like just actual brain?
Well, maybe it's like a jellyfish situation where like there is no brain. It just acts purely on instinct.
Okay, so I think we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, we're...
So, would you rather have a child made of pee? The child made of pee is basically a sentient jellyfish inside a mound of pee. Just a human-shaped mound of pee.
Or a pee made of child, which just kind of sounds like you're giving birth, actually.
I mean, it sounds like it's dead on arrival.
Is the child still alive? Is the child still
I
like
wouldn't say
intact?
so.
Okay.
I would not say a pea made of child, so it's a liquefied child, right? A liquefied like liquefied
But what
human
if it
flesh.
isn't? What if it's still like a solid child and it's just like pushing out a kidney stone, but like 10 times bigger? Because if that's part of this, if that's what's happening, I'll take the pea made of child. If that's not what's happening, absolutely not. I'm taking the child made of pea.
You know what? Funny that we're having this conversation because I really do need to go pee. Uh, and I hope it's not a child, and I hope I don't pee out like human flesh.
You probably will. I just laying it down now. Which ground rule are we sticking to for the pea made of child?
Which do you think?
I can't. I'm picking the
What
other
do you
one.
think they mean?
I can't get the image of a child-sized kidney stone out of my head. I'm just gonna suck it up and deal with the child made of pea. Like either it has a brain and I can be like friends with it, or it doesn't and I can just ignore it for the rest of my life.
Trying to picture a pea made of child is the same as like trying to describe a taste to someone, a taste of food.
Yeah.
Like it's actually impossible.
Describe a color to someone who was born blind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the child made of pea.
I think that's the most logical option here.
I mean, at least then you know you're getting a child, right, of some form.
Of
Whilst
some
with
kind.
the other one, you're getting a pea.
Just like
A pea.
50-50 chance it's gonna be sentient.
Yeah, child made of pea for sure.
Yeah. What if we were wrong about all of this and what they actually mean is just like enough pee all at once to amount to the amount of matter as a child?
Okay, I'm glad we managed to hopefully break that down. All right, we can wrap up now.
Yeah, we probably should. I feel like the longer I talk about pee, the more I'm just gonna melt.
I feel like the second half of this episode was just so brain dead. Ever since the Unga Bunga talk, it's just been going downhill.
I hope that's a trend. I hope that every episode
We just
of this
lose our sanity
Yeah.
every time.
like a
You
time
see
loop.
like the steady decline in our mental health.
It's like a metaphor for slowly becoming dumber.
Imagine we reached like the 2 hour mark of like the recording. We ourselves would not be sentient.
It's gonna be that clip from SpongeBob where they've got the orb of confusion and they're both going, die.
Yeah, this is a good time to wrap up now before the inevitable.
Before we go, we're proud to announce the next episode will have our first guest, the Orb of Confusion. We are both findable on YouTube. You can find me at the real ghost YT, spelled like the word toast because I'm special like that. And you can find him at anti extra spelled without an e, because we're both fancy. And you can find my alt account at oh god, what's it called? Penguin Z0, I think. Yes, that's and
If you wanna find me on my second platform, it is at Ryan Gosling. I will be in a new movie soon. Go see that. The next Blade Runner.
Of course.
That's what I'm gonna be in. Also, just before we go, yes, the rumors about us are correct. We are starting an OnlyFans.
Yep.
We'll be dropping the details next episode, so look forward to that as well.
It's gonna be on the pricier side, so pick up some extra shifts.
Yep. Take up another job, even.
You're probably gonna need like 3 more jobs for this.
We're taking every single penny that you earn.
Yep. We'll catch you in the next one. Everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.